This is NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jay Senior. Thanks to all of you for tuning into today's show. Coming your way, a mailbag where I answer all of your questions and your best takes. First, though, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to today's sponsor, Mint Mobile. They're changing the cell phone game, offering plans for as low as $15 per month. And during a period of inflation, when everybody is trying to save money and cut costs, Mint Mobile allows you to do just that. MintMobile.com/chatsports. Start saving money today. I'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. We start off this mailbag with this one coming in from SM. He joins us every single week because we've been going live on NBA Now multiple times per week. Shout out to SM for being a loyal subscriber. It looks like Kyrie Irving is going to stay with the Brooklyn Nets. What is the Lakers' plan B? I think their plan B, it's running it back with Russell Westbrook, not making many other moves. Now, I don't agree with that plan. I don't like that plan. And recently on Chat Sports, I just listed the top 10 starting lineups in the NBA. Lakers weren't even close. I was going through the list. They're middle of the pack in the NBA. Now, if they receive and land Kyrie Irving, things change. You bring back Russell Westbrook, they stay in the middle of the pack of the NBA. I don't think they're really a well-constructed basketball team. You still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's great. That allows you to compete in the thick of a playoff race, no question about it. But you bring in Kyrie, it changes the complexion of the team. Looks as though he's going to stay with the Nets as long as Kevin Durant comes back. If a KD trade happens, then I think that is the signal for Kyrie Irving to get traded. The Lakers' plan B, I think it's to go to Russell Westbrook because they're financially hamstrung up to this point. Next up, it's Evan Hinders. Trae Young for MVP. It's not as crazy as one might think. He's coming off the best year of his career. I'm actually going to put up Trae numbers or pull up Trae Young's numbers just to reference here. They were really good last year, and he kind of fell under the radar. Everybody thought, okay, the Atlanta Hawks coming off that Eastern Conference Finals appearance, they were a play-in team, and then they just got dominated by the Miami Heat. That's true, but Trae Young was also really good. Career year for him, 28.5 points per game. He shot 90% from the free throw line, a career high 9.7 assists. He shot 46% from the field with a ton of volume on 20 field goal attempts per night. He took 8 three-pointers a game and shot 38%. He could win MVP, but for that to happen, Atlanta Hawks going to have to be a top 3 team in the East. Bully Boy next up on the show. Moves that the Philadelphia 76ers can make to put them over the top. Okay, Bully Boy, putting on your GM hat here. Trade for Patrick Beverley, sign DeMarcus Cousins, Hassan Whiteside, or even Enes Freedom. What do you think? So you can't sign all of those centers. You're going to have to select one, and all of them are different. Boogie, not the player who he was back in his prime, where for about an 8-year stretch, he was on this trajectory of being one of the most skilled bigs in the history of the NBA. Injuries, he's never been the same. Still at this point, he can knock down the three, put the ball on the floor just a little bit, even though he lacks all of his explosiveness that made him really, really dangerous. And he can mix it up down low. Not much of a defensive player because he's slow. Hassan Whiteside, on the other hand, shot blocker, rim protector, really good with the alley-oops, and just offers you tremendous size. Cannot shoot the three ball at all. Enes Freedom, maybe a little bit of a baseline, Jay. He's probably second best on this list. I'd honestly go Whiteside, Enes Freedom, DeMarcus Cousins. That might be a hot take, but I think Freedom is out of the league just because of his stance on politics right now. I actually think he could be a backup big in the NBA. But yeah, I like one of the 3 free agent bigs to back up Embiid alongside Paul Reed, and then trading for Patrick Beverley. I'm not sure that's realistic because you traded for DeAnthony Melton and you signed PJ Tucker. Bully Boy, appreciate you though. Speaking of the Sixers, where do you think the Sixers starting 5 ranks in the NBA? 30 teams in the association. Where are they? Let me know right now. Marquise Robertson. What's up, Chase Sr., Tom Downey, Mitchell Renz, and also Harrison Graham and the rest of the Chat Sports crew. What up, Marquise Robertson? What's going on with the latest on Kyrie Irving and also Kevin Durant? So really up to this point, it's a little bit slow on the KD and Kyrie front. Why is that? The league is just kind of at a standstill right now. For the first time in a couple of years, they have a normal offseason where everybody can take a normal vacation before training camp gets underway in September, with preseason games not long after that. So people aren't even on the phone right now, outside of like Utah with that Donovan Mitchell stuff and the New York Knicks. For the Brooklyn Nets, things things look to be and appear to be kind of at a pause right now. Now, if KD gets traded, the Nets aren't going to rebuild with Kyrie Irving. They're going to look to get some semblance of value back with him opting into that player option on that deal for one more year. So if Kevin Durant gets traded, that spells the end for Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, in Brooklyn. If KD comes back, I think Kyrie comes back, and I actually kind of like that roster. It's pretty solid. Your starters, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, Ben Simmons. You can go Joe Harris or Seth Curry at that two-guard spot. Nicholas Claxton, Royce O'Neal trade was a sneaky good one. You signed TJ Warren, brought back Patty Mills. Nets with KD and Kyrie, pretty solid unit, but it all comes down to whether or not KD gets dealt. Don't panic, RS. Do you see Draymond Green leaving the Golden State Warriors? Which team other than the Warriors would be his best fit? I think Draymond is a pretty unique player in the sense that if you put him on different teams in the NBA, he might not be able to raise up the level of play of his respective teammates like he's been able to do with the Warriors. That's just a happenstance of him falling to the Warriors in the second round, falling to the best team, and then having the perfect pieces around him to succeed, utilizing his defensive ability, utilizing his passing ability, his just basketball savvy smarts with finding backdoor cutters, setting screens at opportune times to free up some of the shooters around the three-point arc. Now, there's no question, defensively, still one of the best in the league at this point, even at 32 years old. But his value wouldn't be felt as much for other teams unless that team is loaded with some really good complementary pieces. You imagine him going to a team like the Miami Heat, that would be a lot of fun. You imagine him going to another really deep team in the NBA like the Phoenix Suns, my goodness. He'd certainly elevate the other players on that roster. So that's kind of how I view that. You know how I view Mint Mobile? In a very good light. Why is that? Because I'm saving a bunch of money now every single month with their cell phone plans on America's largest 5G network that begin as low as $15 per month. In this period of inflation, when everybody's trying to save money, I'm no different. I was on a family plan, and I reached out to my dad, and I said, Pops, I'm paying $80 to $100 per month in my current cell phone plan. It's great, right? I'm able to have a brand new iPhone, unlimited data, so I can use my phone no matter where I am, because given the current status of my job, I'm always on my phone, whether I'm recording a video or tapping into Twitter to see what news and rumors are going down on the NBA and NFL front. But at some point, I have to start saving money. So I hit up my pops, got off the family plan, and I joined the Mint Mobile experience. And it's been a great experience thus far. What's also cool is their digital eSIM cards that they mail to you. You don't have to go to a store to get set up, and you don't have to get a new phone or change your cell phone number, and it's reliable coverage, unlimited talk and text on America's largest 5G network. So if you head to mintmobile.com/chatsports, that link available for you in the comment section and the description of this video, you'll too be able to start saving money today. Henrico Chufi with the super chat, Canadian currency, Canada. I love it. Will the Raptors ever get another superstar? I think it would have to come via trade. I don't think that's really a free agent destination, but Kawhi Leonard went there, and it worked out. They acquired Kyle Lowry, which ended up being great. That made that franchise relevant for the first time in a little while. They had DeMar DeRozan. I think what the Raptors do as good as anybody, is develop and identify talent. They did it with the aforementioned DeMar DeRozan. They did it with Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam. They're currently doing that with Scotty Barnes. I mean, I'm watching some players last year, Precious Achiuwa, and I'm like, my goodness, this guy could play too. Chris Boucher, he was a journeyman at the NBA level. He just got $30 million in guaranteed money. So that's what they do so well. That's why they're always competitive. Now, if they get a superstar on top of the homegrown talent that they have, they'll be a really dangerous team. I got respect for the Toronto Raptors. I think Masai Ujiri, one of the best execs, Nick Nurse, one of the best coaches. As long as you have that current regime in place, Raptors are going to be in a fine spot. Shane Peterman, could the Celtics sign DeMarcus Cousins or LaMarcus Aldridge? I do think that the Celtics, if they have any needs on that roster, And there are very few needs on that current team because they're locked and loaded. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Robert Williams. Like, what a terrific starting five that was with versatility on both ends. You added Malcolm Brogdon without giving up virtually anything. You signed Danilo Gallinari for $6.5 million per year. That's great. In that front court, they're a little bit thin, though. And DeMarcus Cousins would just be a good depth piece, giving them, let's say, 10 minutes per night during the regular season. Sometimes he gets DNP'd in the playoffs, and that's okay. LaMarcus Aldridge, I love that sweet baseline mid-range J. I think that helps the floor spacing a little bit. I think because of that, he could occupy that backup Al Horford role and still play alongside Robert Williams or play just solely by himself as a 5. So, Shane, I kind of like it, and they'll come on the cheap. Colin Reed chiming in. $2 super chat, another donation. Let's ride, NBA country. What did you think of Chip England to OKC, the well-respected shot doctor who with the San Antonio Spurs developed so many players and was able to really work on their shooting mechanics to turn them and transform them from subpar shooters to average shooters and elite shooters. Chip England to OKC will be able to do what he did a lot of with the San Antonio Spurs. Get his hands on these young players, start developing them, get into the lab, and improve their shooting strokes. And for him to go there, that's a good professional move and another challenge for a team that's on the come-up, as where the San Antonio Spurs are going downhill. And for OKC, hell of a hire. My boy, Lion Fighter X with the $5 super chat. Let's go. What's up, Chase? Will Tyrease Maxey be an all-star this season? Tyrease Maxey has all the ability to be a breakout candidate. He has all the ability to be an all-star player down the road. I'm not sure if it's going to happen as quickly as year 3 because of the complementary pieces on this team. James Harden, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, they're going to have their hands on the basketball a lot. Now, I do think that when Harden is on the floor and off the floor, Tyrease Maxey is going to be handed a bunch of the ball handling duties, and the offense will primarily go through him and Joel Embiid. And I think because of that, his production is going to be really good. If he could put up numbers like he did in the playoffs, in the regular season this upcoming year, where he's averaging, let's say, 20 to 22 points per game and one of the top 5 best three-point shooters in terms of percentage in the league next year, then he could become an all-star. I just don't know if it happens as early as year 3, but if it does, Lion Fighter, me and you will celebrate. Bob Berta, NBA breakout candidates. This will be the last segment, or the last question, in our mailbag. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I just plan ahead, and I put together some of these lists. Last week, it was my top 10 players, and we have this in the database, some of my NBA breakout candidates, because we like to stockpile these graphics in case we do them on a show at some point. So good job by producer Coop for pulling this up, but here's some of my breakout candidates here. And I'm going to exclude rookies because that's kind of our chat sports rule, right? How can a rookie be a breakout candidate? But year 2 guys and beyond, they can be deemed as breakout candidates. Tyrese Halliburton has been really good throughout his NBA career, but I look at breakout candidates like in the running for most improved player, and it's kind of a combination of both. Halliburton can become, I believe, a borderline superstar in this league and a future all-star. He was awesome for Indiana last year, really good for Sacramento, one of the few players in the history of the NBA who's actually wanted to play for the Kings, and they still dealt him away. Jalen Green, last couple of months of last year, arrow pointing up for him, started to find his groove, started to have some confidence. Early in his rookie campaign, it was a little bit rocky, really started to turn that corner and turn it on at the end of the year. OG Anunoby, just look at the numbers that he's put up the last couple of years, continues to get better and better and better and better. He's always had the length, the bulk, and the athleticism, but with OG Anunoby, the offense is what continues to blossom. And then Jalen Suggs, big year 2 for him. And this is a team that I think is a good complementary cast for what Jalen Suggs does well. A little bit confused as to why Orlando played him so much off ball last year, also dealt with a couple of injuries. But if he can settle into that point guard role, I think that'll allow him to kind of maximize his ability. So right there, 4 breakout candidates for me. Before we hop on out of here in this mailbag, just want to hear from you. If you made it this far, you're a real one, and I want to know where the real ones are at. So shout out where you're watching from and rep your city on this mailbag.